Okay, Jeff Vision activated. This looks kind of ridiculous with the video camera strapped to my head. I'm also not sure with a hat in the way how well the microphone is picking things up, but here we go. This here is the epoxy mask that I am working on. Not entirely finished just quite yet, but the inside is certainly starting to look better. And he certainly does have an interesting case of dandruff. So, this is kind of basically how the shaving process goes. Just trying to lighten it up and smooth it out. Actually really flakes off, but once you stack up the flakes towards the end there, compress them down, it's not as much as it looked like. Kind of like scraping snow out of ice, really. Now, I can afford to take a lot off of the forehead because this will later be covered up by hair and nobody's going to see any of it. So I can make this pretty much as thin as possible. Probably end up being a centimeter thick at the most, really. The problematic area is down here at the eye. That's a little bit more visible and a lot more finicky. Getting these puppies to be symmetrical is well, it's been a challenge to say the least. I've still gotta take off a little bit in this region here to try and get a nice straight edge. This edge is fairly straight, but still need to take some out of this region. And the knife seems to do that quite nicely. I sure did waste a lot of sandpaper. Here. Give the camera a better angle if I lean back. Give it. Fuck. Okay, well, it's been a few minutes. That means it's time to put down the knife and keep you guys happy for a second. Okay, Saber has buggered off for the moment. Ooh, music. Old stars.
Plain talking, plain talk, served us so well, We traveled through hell, know how we felt,
Oopsie, camera slipped a little bit. patch up the tripod a little bit here. Yeah, it should do it. Now, I have already smoothed out the edges of this eye socket fairly well. This one is still pretty rough because I've taken out a lot of the lower edge of this eye in order to even things out. Yeah. Now, this kind of knife carving is a lot easier to do when you're not wearing the mask, since it is fairly difficult to do this sort of thing without gouging out your own eye. But in the end, we kind of want an edge that slopes away from the eye to provide an absolute minimal obstruction of the field of vision. Closer to the eye, it can be a little bit higher up because that will make things look as though, well, a little bit less artificial. Trying to look as much as possible like the mask is part of the face. Oopsie, pinned down the zoom with the tape. Where is it? Oh, there you are. Part of the problem that I've been having has been that trying to get something like this perfectly symmetrical to begin with is not an easy process by eye. For example, to take a look at this sucker in straight top down, you'll notice that this cheek bulges out more than this one does. I've evened it out a bit, but I still gotta try and take this down a little bit with some sanding. This star that I've marked here is where this side of the muzzle needs to be built out a little bit more. Simply because this is a fairly right angle, whereas this one slopes in. So I'll build that out a little bit, try and chip away at this part here, and that should all be good. On the inside of things, you can see where I've added the bottle opener. That should be pretty funny.